Hello. Today is the October 28th, and there's an analogy that's been on my mind that I was once presented to before. And the analogy goes to say, we are all holding a plate. We all have plates in our hands. And the best way to explain this analogy is that we all have food in our hands. On this plate, I love, what do I love? A good cheeseburger. I love some French fries. I love a good salad with some rice. I love a good smoothie. I love a good milkshake. I love these things. And we all have foods we choose or we didn't choose on our plate, chosen. These selections are either making our arms tired or they're actually giving us strength. Let's say that smoothie is going to be better than that milkshake. The smoothie may be better because you're working out this year or you are studying and you have to eat food that's going to help your mind elevate and grow. The milkshake may not be better in that season for you to drink more frequently because it's that sugar and that dairy is going to clog you up and take you mentally out of the capacity where you need to be. That milkshake in a different season where you're trying to bulk up and you are working out a lot and it you need that extra protein, not the extra calories, because milkshake isn't protein, but the extra calories to add weight onto yourself in that season. It's something valuable. So the first thing was acknowledging the season that I'm in. The season that I'm in is working at a hospital, which is good, which I love, in school for nursing, and growing into my independence, being self sufficient. And when I look at my plate and the food that I had on it in the previous seasons, I would smoke weed. I would go to bed early because I love getting some good sleep. Who doesn't love getting good sleep? Eat all the sugar and candy that I wanted because that season didn't call for much. But now that the season has changed, my plate looks completely different. It's a lot more healthier foods on it that your your body, it doesn't want to agree with that change, that new change that's better for you, for yourself. But it's mandatory. And removing those things off your plate stretches you mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because first, it's uncomfortable. Who wants to be uncomfortable? It's like sitting on a plane and the seat selection, you're in the middle row, you're on front tier. Seats aren't the best. You don't have that much room, and they don't serve that much food on there. So that's in that season when you are not required much of yourself, and then you're transitioning into a season where way more is required of you. You may be able to sit first class, but first you may have to pack your luggage properly, or you may have to plan your whole trip out a year in advance, or you may have to set arrangements for your home to be watched over while you're gone. And in that season of transitioning, you have to take things off your plate. So first you'll be uncomfortable. Then in this season, what else? You'll it'll be uncertain. Definitely be an uncertain time where you're not sure, you're uncomfortable, and you're not sure where the next step is going to take you, how you're going to get from point A to point B. And that's where you're stretched in the spiritual realm, where I put my faith in Jesus, who has never felt me. And he has been my anchor point in this season. Then it goes from spiritually being stretched, physically being stretched, because you have to let go. If you're learning, you're growing, you have to treat your mind right, your time right. Means lowering your dopamine intake. May not be able to watch that drama, the Atlanta Housewives anymore. May not be something that would be more suitable for you in that season. So then it also is physically as well as mentally, physically, and spiritually. So you're being mentally stretched by taking away your joys after a long day. You want to come home and watch some TV, go watch this Thursday night game. You might want to go home and smoke. That's not what the next transitional season is calling for you. Then physically, you may have to stay up longer hours to put in more work. You may have to wake up earlier to put in more work. You may have to eat cleaner in your diet to then have more of capacity throughout the day with your energy levels. It's a transitioning from one season to another season. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge worth taking. Because just 6 months ago, I'm 6 months sober now, I wasn't able to even fully express myself in complete sentences. I wasn't even able to elaborate on my thoughts. But this new season of working in the hospital, being around more educated people, being in school, being, learning information that I wasn't once exposed to, has grown me in ways I could have never imagined. But if I would have said, you know what, the season I was in before, eating honest candy, smoking, and doing whatever I wanted to do, if I was okay to stay in that season, I would have never made it here. In that time period of transitioning, there's still more transition to go. Life is a ever revolving door that you must walk through and grow and become a better version of yourself. If I would have stayed there, then I would never have received the fruits of this season. But the obedience that came from God. So I was obedient to God based off of what my assignment was, what He had me to do, the people He had me to talk to getting out of my comfort zone, to go to the school, to take the test, to get into college, and wasn't even at the level that for initial entry, and to grow in all these different ways that I was scared initially. I'm not going to sit here and tell you no different, because God knows my heart. He knows my story.